بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد آله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We have a very good discussion today, and inshallah, as you will see, Ghazali here makes very important points about how a servant of God can rise in his understanding of the greatness of Allah to the extent that he may not see himself and only see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, continuing what we discussed in the last session, we say that there are two ways to look at our relation with Allah. If you remember, the question was this: how admitting that we are not able to thank Him is accepted as shukr. The first view, the first approach was to say that we are nothing. He is the one who is ash-shakir wal-mashkur. He thanks and he is thanked. And you reach a level of not seeing yourself. That is what we call fina. And if you are real muwahhid and you are able to look at things with monotheistic eye, you would only see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says some people make mockery of those people who say these things. And they say, but you are this much high, you have this much weight. What do you mean it's only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is there? And he says, actually, this is a necessity for Arifin to be ridiculed. He says, ضرورة قول العارفين أن يكونوا ضحكة للجاهل. It's a necessity that Arifin are ridiculed by Jahilin. Whatever they say, they make mockery of what they say because they are not able to understand what those Urafa and mystics say. And he says in the Quran also we have this point that in dunya some people make mockery of believers, but on the day of judgment it would be the opposite. إن الذين أجرموا كانوا من الذين آمنوا يضحكون. Those who were criminals, they were making mockery of the believers. What is that you go every day to Jose? You must be crazy that you go every day to Jose, in London, go and enjoy yourself, So they make mockery. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, that was Surah Mutaffifin verses 30 to 34. In Surah Mutaffifin 35 and 36 says, فَالْيَوْمَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنَ الْكُفَّارِ يَضْحَكُونَ. But on the day of judgment would be the opposite. عَلَى الْأَرَائِكَ يَنْظُرُونَ. Or for example, the people who lived at the time of Prophet Noah, the people of Noah, they used to make mockery of it. There is no sea here why you are making an ark or sheep? Yeah? So you must have lost your mind. But he said, إن تسخروا منا فإنا نسخر منكم كما تسخرون. So this is the continuity of the previous session. The second view is the view of the people who have not reached that high level of fana. It's not that they don't see themselves, they don't see anything other than God. An-Nadharu Thani, page 154 of volume 7. Just the second line. An-Nadharu Thani, Nadharu man lam yablugh ila maqam al-fana'i an nafsih. The second view is the view of the people who have not reached the level of not seeing themselves. I interpret fana in this way. I don't want to say you don't exist. I say you don't see yourself. These people are themselves divided into two groups. هؤلاء قسمان. There are two groups. قسم لم يثبتوا إلا وجود أنفسهم. These are atheists. Certainly atheists have not reached the level of fana, but they are not able also to recognize existence of God. So they are very far from fana. Okay? So under Urafa who have reached level of fana, we have many different people. In general, we can divide them two groups. People who don't believe in God or people who believe in God. Okay? So, one group is those that lam yuthbatu illa wujuda anfusihim. They have not proved except existence of themselves. I mean, they don't believe in anything except their own existence. Ankaru an yakuna lahum rabbun yu'bad. They deny that they have a Lord that should be worshipped. These are the people who are umyan. These are blind. They don't see the truth. Al-mankusun. These are the people who are upside down. Instead of only seeing God, they only see themselves. Okay? And their blindness is in both eyes. وَعَمَاهُمْ فِي كِلْتَ الْعَيْنَيْنِ. None of their eyes can see. Sometimes a person is able to see with one eye. Yeah, we call a'war. A'war is the one who has one eye. But these people are blind in both eyes. What does it mean? They are, pardon? No. All of it is basira, but he means they are not able to see God and they are not able to see their reliance and dependence. So they missed presence and existence of God, and they have missed their own poverty. وَعَمَاهُمْ فِي كِلْتَ الْعَيْنَيْنِ لَأَنَّهُمْ نَفَوْا مَا هُوَ الثَّابِتُ تَحْقِيقًا. They have denied something which is definitely there. وَهُوَ الْقَيُّومُ الذي هو قائم بنفسه وقائم على كل نفس بما كسبت وكل قائم فقائم به. They have denied God who is self-subsistent and everything else is because of Him existing. So this is a problem. But there is another problem. وَلَمْ يَقْتَصِرُوا عَلَى هَذَا. They didn't stop here. حتى أثبتوا أنفسهم The second problem is that they see themselves as independent things. Instead of only seeing God, they only see themselves. وَلَوْ عَرَفُوا لَعَلِمُوا أَنَّهُمْ مِنْ حَيْثُ هُمْ لَا ثَبَاتَ لَهُمْ وَلَا وُجُودَ لَهُمْ. If they were عارف, لو عرفوا, if they had معرفة لعلموا, they would have known that they don't have any existence of their own. لا ثبات لهم. They don't have any truth, any reality of their own. من حيث هم means by themselves. As such, because Mahiyya by itself doesn't need and doesn't require condition of existence or non-existence. But the practical result is that if there is no cause for existence, you don't exist. Okay? وَإِنَّمَا وُجُودُهُمْ مِنْ حَيْثُ أُوجِدُوا لَا مِنْ حَيْثُ وُجِدُوا. Those who have studied philosophy remember that formula. So they exist because they have been brought into existence. They are ujedu, means they have been originated. They are not just existent. Wujudu means, although it looks as maf'ul, but in Arabic, wujudu and mawjud is not ism maf'ul, because we use it as just something that exists. Initially it was ism maf'ul because it means something which is found. Wujida means it is found. But now we use it, wujida means exists. Exists is not muta'addi, it's lazim. So, ujidu is ism maf'ul, means they have been created, they have been originated. Wujudu means exists. So, we are created, we are originated. We don't exist just by ourselves. فَالْمَوْجُودُ حَقٌّ, which is Allah. وَالْمُوجَدُ, which is us, batil. We are batil. In what sense we are batil? Not that we are illusion. It means that we are not independent. We are shadow. You shouldn't think that you are the possessor of shadow. You are the shadow. Okay. So, this is the first group of the people who have the second view. Remember? The first view was view of Urafa. The second view, we said, belongs to two groups of people. One is the people who denied Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another group are the people who don't deny Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but their understanding is not like Urafa. Al-Fariq al-Thani laysa bihim umyun. They are not blind, but they have one eye. They are a'war. يَبْصُرُونَ بِإِحْدَى الْعَيْنَيْنِ. They see with one eye. So, the problem is this. What is the eye that they see with and what is the eye that they cannot see with? They see that there is God. But the problem is that they don't see total dependence of other things on God. They see God, but they also see other things. So, if they were able to see properly with both eyes, they would see God, and they would see nothing other than God is really independent, is able to do anything independently. But these people only see one thing. So, لأنهم يبصرون بإحدى العينين وجود الحق or وجود الموجود الحق. With one eye they see the existence of the true being, which is God. فلا ينكرونه. They don't deny God. So they are not atheists. But العين الأخرى, the other ain has a problem. Either the other eye is blind, they are a'war, or the other eye sees a little. This is called in Arabic a'mash. A'mash is the one whose vision is very weak. So we have different terms in Arabic. A'war. So first is a'ma, who has no vision. A'war, one eye. A'mash, weak vision. Ahwal is the one who sees everything twice. They have double vision. These are different terms that we have in Arabic. So, al-aynul ukhra, the other eye, not the one which is seeing, the other eye, and tamma amaha, if it is completely blind, the second eye. If it is blind completely, lam yabsur biha fana'a ghayr al-mawjud al-haq. It would not see that anything other than God is fani. Anything other than God is nothing. فَأَثْبَتَ مَوْجُودًا آخَرَ مَعَ اللَّهِ. They think there are things next to God, independent. وَهَذَا مُشْرِكٌ تَحْقِيقًا. He's the one who associates partner to God, the polytheist, he's a mushrik. The one was jahid, means denied. This one is mushrik. But if it is better than umy and it is a'mash, adraka tafawutan, he would not consider other things equal to God. The one who considers other things equal to God is one eye is blind. No, he can see difference, but his eye is weak, the other eye. So he don't see all the difference between God and other things. He see a little difference between God and other things. God is good, but there are other things also. Okay. So, if he goes from blindness to weakness of the eye, he would see difference between two types of existence. فَأَثْبَتَ عَبْدًا وَرَبًّا. Not next to God. So it's abd and rab. فبهذا القدر من إثبات التفاوت والنقص من الموجود الآخر دخل في حد التوحيد. So now with this distinction that he is able to make, he doesn't put anyone next to God, we can consider him as muwahhid. He has entered the circle of muwahhidin. But what is the problem? What's the problem? Still he has not become arif. Yeah? He just says there is God and there is abd. As if two things exist, one of them needs the other. But we are much more dependent on God than a slave and his master. Yeah? A slave can continue his life without master. For even our existence, we need God. For everything we need God. So, أثبت عبدا وربا, because he has accepted and proved for himself that there is Lord and there is a servant. دخل في حد التوحيد. But then he has a beautiful expression. You know Kohl? Yeah, in English what is it called? Kohl. Eyeline. But the chemical. Yeah, so it is something that they say it's not only for beautification. They say it is also good for eye. Of course, I have no interest. I don't want to sell it. So this is what I have heard.
But where is it from a hadith?
Pardon?
Where is it from? I've heard it before, but from which hadith?
I am not familiar. I'm not expert. But normally, I think it is a burnt chemical, which is burnt. I think something like that. Huh? Kohl.
Oh wait, I think it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So it's black, but it's a matter of like cosmetic beautification, but also they say it is good for your eye. It's not like chemical, cosmetics. Yeah. So he says the books that Allah has sent through His prophets, these are kohl for our eyes. Because he said this person's eye is weak. He can see a little, he can see abd and rab. But till he becomes arif, he needs better vision. This needs kohl. But what is kohl?
Is there anything from the Quran, Imam's hadith, anything he mentions God at all?
About what?
God at all?
I-
I've heard this so many times.
I've read it somewhere.
I think we have in Sunan,
We have.
but I have to check. Yes, I didn't prepare myself for this.
For cosmetic.
Yes. So he says that Kutubullah Ta'ala al-munzala ala al-sinati rasulihi al-kuhl الذي يحصل به أنوار الأبصار. If you look at these books and read and reflect and implement, your vision becomes better. Even physical vision becomes better. We have hadith that the one who looks at mushaf, man nadhara ila al-mushaf, for example, mutta'a bi-basari, your vision becomes better. But we are not here only talking about physical vision. We are talking about vision of the heart. Al-Anbiya humul kahhalun. You cannot maybe yourself put kohl because it's very sensitive, And if you make mistake, maybe you harm your eye. Anbiya are those experts who put this kohl in our eyes. وَقَدْ جَاءُوا دَاعِينَ إِلَى التَّوْحِيدِ الْمَحْضِ. Anbiya have come and they invited us to pure tawheed. وَتَرْجَمَتُهُ قَوْلُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Tawheed, if you want to interpret tawheed, it's La ilaha illallah. What is the meaning of La ilaha illallah? First you think La ilaha illallah means there is no God except one God.
Yes.
But he says, if you go deeper, La ilaha illallah means there is nothing other than God. La yara illa al-wahid al-haq. You don't see anything other than God. Then he says, those who have reached perfection of Tawheed are very little in number. Al-jahidun wal-mushrikun ayzan hum qalilun. Those who deny God are also little. The majority are in the in between, in the middle position. Those who see with one eye these are the majority of people. Then there is a beautiful point that I mentioned in the beginning about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He has a kind of interpretation of one of the du'as of Prophet, which is very interesting. I'm not saying definitely this is what Rasulullah meant, but it's a nice interpretation. He says, when Allah asked the Prophet to seek nearness, the ayah Sajda in Surah Alaq, I don't read the ayah, but that ayah asked the Prophet to prostrate and seek nearness. Okay? So he says, Rasulullah in his sajda, in his prostration, said this. This is the dua that we want to interpret. He said, أعوذ بعفوك من عقابك. I seek refuge from your punishment, but by your af. Means I ask your af to be my protector from your punishment. وَأَعُوذُ بِرِضَاكَ مِنْ سَخَطِكَ. And I ask your pleasure to be protector against your wrath, your ghadab, sakhat, anger. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْكَ. I ask you to give me refuge with respect to yourself. You know, we have this Ya man la mafarra minhu illa ilay. Yeah? Sometimes a child is running away from his mother. Okay? Suppose the mother is upset, the child knows that maybe mother, would be angry, so runs away. But then when wants to run away, meets a dangerous animal, then runs back to mother and asks mother for help. So we have no place to go to run away except God. But also if we have somehow made God angry with us, again it's better to go back to Him. So أعوذ بك منك لا أحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. I cannot exhaust, means I cannot fully praise you. لا أحصي, yeah? I cannot completely praise you. You are as you have praised yourself. His interpretation is this. He says, Rasulullah indeed is referring to different levels and stages. When he says, أعوذ بعفوك من عقابك, it means that there is no one other than you to help me. I use your action against your action. So, fi'lullah, to protect from fi'lullah. We are not concerned about anything else. You see the level of tawheed. he is in the level of just thinking about God, but fi'lullah and fi'lullah. Then he goes closer to God. What is closer to God than his action? His sifa, his quality. Therefore he says, أعوذ برضاك من سخطك. Rida is closer to the essence of God than af. Af is action, rida is a quality, is a sifa. Then he goes further and he says, أعوذ بك منك. It's not fail, it's not sifa, it's zat. Okay? Then he says, لا أحصي ثناء عليك. I cannot praise you enough. So, he has reached the level of nearness to essence, and he says, I cannot praise you enough. But again he goes further and starts not even seeing himself. Because when you say, I cannot praise you enough, still you are seeing yourself. So then he says, أَنْتَ كَمَا أَثْنَيْتَ عَلَى نَفْسِكَ. So it's only you, and you are as you have praised yourself. So how many stages are here? Like 5 levels. Fi'l of God, sifa, zat, then seeing yourself not able to praise. This can be a 4th or can be along with 3rd, and then even not seeing yourself. He says, قوله أعوذ بعفوك من عقابك كلام عن مشاهدة فعل الله فقط. This is the speech of someone who does not see anything other than action of God. It means he cannot see other beings. كأنه لم ير إلى الله وأفعاله. As if he has not seen anything other than God and his actions. فاستعاذ بفعله من فعله. He has asked refuge from his action with respect to his action. But ثم اغترب. But he went closer. ففني عن مشاهدة الأفعال وترقى إلى مصادر الأفعال وهي الصفات. He went closer, and instead of seeing actions, saw the sources of action. Masdarul af'al. Masdarul af'al are sifat. If you have generous acts, it's because you have generosity, for example. Of course, some people have no generosity, they do takalluf, but in the long term, you keep doing good things, you have the quality. Or if you have the quality, good things come out of it. Allah doesn't need to repeat to become generous. He has the quality in eternity. So, this reaches masadirul af'al wa hiya as-sifat. فَقَالَ أَعُوذُ بِالرِّضَاكَ مِنْ سَخَطِكَ. Reza and sakha are 2 sifa. Then, رَازَ لِكَ نُقْصَانًا فِي التَّوْحِيد. Says, why I am still at the level of sifat? فَاقْتَرَبَ. Went closer. وَرَقِيَ. Irtiqa means to rise higher. من مقام مشاهدة الصفات إلى مشاهدة الذات. Then viewing the essence of God. فقال أعوذ بك منك. هذا فرار منه إليه من غير رؤية فعل وصفة. This is to run away from God to God without bothering or seeing actions or sifat. And then he says, لكنه رأى نفسه فارا منه إليه وَمُسْتَعِيذًا وَمُثْنِيًا. But in this condition, still he is seeing himself as a person who is running away from God to God, a person who wants to praise God. So the next step is not to be seeing even yourself. فَفَنِيَ عَنْ مُشَاهَدَةِ نَفْسِهِ إِذْ رَأَى ذَلِكَ نُقْصَانًا وَاقْتَرَبَ فَقَالَ أَنْتَ كَمَا أَثْنَيْتَ عَلَى نَفْسِكَ. You are as you have praised yourself. So, he says, after 2-3 lines, he says, فَكَانَ أَوَّلُ مَقَامِهِ نهاية مقامات الموحدين. So Rasulullah began with what? Just seeing actions of God. Yeah, the beginning was, the first level here was أعوذ بعفوك من عقابك. But this is end of Muwahideen's journey. Because we said Muwahideen, they have to make progress till they only see God. But Rasulullah, even in seeing God, he is going further. Seeing action of God, or quality of God, or essence of God, and then seeing yourself or not seeing yourself, all that. فَكَانَ أَوَّلُ مَقَامِهِ نِهَايَةَ مَقَامَاتِ الْمُوَحِّدِينَ. The first of his station is the highest and last of the station of Muwahhidin. فَانْظُرْ إِلَى مَاذَا انْتَحَتْ نِهَايَتُهُ. Look, what was the end of the prophets? Where did he end? إذا انتهى إلى الواحد الحق حتى ارتفع من نظره ومشاهدته سوى الذات الحق. Anything other than God disappeared from his vision. Then he says, when Rasulullah was going higher, he was looking back and seeing that there were problems, and he was asking for forgiveness. Okay? Because they don't compare themselves with us and say, okay, mashallah, we are much better than them. They compare themselves with what is available for them. So whenever they are in a condition, first they are sorry why they were lower than this before, and second, why they are not in a higher position than what they have. So he says, لَقَدْ كَانَ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ لَا يَرْقَى مِنْ رُتْبَةٍ إِلَى الْأُخْرَى. Rasulullah was not rising from one rank to another rank إِلَّا وَيَرَى الْأُولَى بُعْدًا بِالْإِضَافَةِ إِلَى الثَّانِيَةِ. Unless he was seeing that that was a kind of distance. So if he was going from seeing verbs, actions, to the condition of seeing sifat, he was not saying, oh, I have to be proud of myself that I made a progress. He was seeing that he was far from God. It was a bore. فَكَانَ يَسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهِ مِنَ الْأُولَى. So he was asking forgiveness from Allah for what was his condition. Although that condition was high, but Rasulullah is considering that now as a kind of guilt. فَكَانَ يَسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهِ مِنَ الْأُولَى وَيَرَى ذَلِكَ نَقْصًا فِي سُلُوكِهِ وَتَقْصِيرًا فِي مَقَامِهِ. He was considering this as a kind of deficiency, as a kind of shortcoming, and feeling guilty about it. وَإِلَيْهِ الْإِشَارَةُ بِقَوْلِهِ. And he says, Rasulullah was referring to this point in this famous hadith. إِنَّهُ لَيُغَانُ عَلَىٰ قَلْبِي. It's a famous hadith that we have, that Rasulullah is quoted as saying, my heart gets like, smoked. Rain. It's not dark, but it's like, when there is a smoke. It's a kind of like being clouded. Okay? Like yughanu ala qalbi. So, because we have hadith that heart is white, like a white dress. But if we make a sin, a black spot comes on the heart. It's a matter of, not a matter of color, it means maybe light and darkness, whatever. Okay? If one does tawbah, that will be removed. Otherwise it will remain. Then the next sin, it becomes bigger. Little by little, it becomes all dark. Rasulullah is not committing sin in the sense that other people may do. So there is no like black ink on a white dress. But it's a smoke. Like a room which is full of smoke, for example, or little smoke. And that is because he is feeling that his remembrance of God was not as it was supposed to be. Even if he is busy with actions of God and not with the qualities of God or not with the essence of God, he sees this is like a smoke. It's not 100% clear. إِنَّهُ لَيُغَانُ عَلَىٰ قَلْبِي حَتَّى أَسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ فِي الْيَوْمِ وَاللَّيْلَةِ 70 مرة or حتى أستغفر الله, depending what type of hatta we take this. Every day and night I ask 70 times forgiveness from Allah for this smoke to go away.
Leona means back in this level. Leona, what is it mean?
La yughanu ala means a smoke surrounds my heart. So Rasulullah used to, always ask forgiveness minimum 70 times every day. Day means 24 hours, day and night. Every day at least 70 times he was asking for forgiveness. Why? He says, فَكَانَ ذَلِكَ لِتَرَقِّيهِ إِلَى 70 مَقَامًا. This is his interpretation. I am not saying definitely that what Rasulullah meant, but it's a nice interpretation. He says, because Rasulullah had gone 70 ranks high, so he was considering all these 70 ranks that he left behind as like guilts and sins. So for each one istighfar. Because for every sin it's important to have one istighfar. Although you can say to Allah, please forgive all my sins. But this is not, strong enough. We should remember each sin, and for every sin we should ask forgiveness. Okay? Like for example, if your hand is made dirty by different germs, some of them you need to wash with soap, some of them with petrol, some of them with hot water, some of them maybe with soil, you know. Some of them you have to have perfume because it's clean but it smells. So every sin has one type of effect. You cannot wash them all easily. You have to be attentive to each sin. So Rasulullah was seeing 70 sins and he was asking 17 times istighfar. Then he says, لما قالت عائشة أليس قد غفر الله لك ما تقدم من ذنبك وما تأخر فما هذا البكاء في السجود وما هذا الجهد الشديد. You remember we had this before. When wife of the Prophet said, hasn't God forgiven your sins, the earlier ones, the later ones? Why you cry so much in sajda? What is this great efforts that you are making? Rasulullah said, أَفَلَا أَكُونُ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا. He says, one interpretation, of course he doesn't say one, but we can say one interpretation of this is this, that shouldn't I seek more? Because لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If I am shakur, then I can go higher. If I am not shakur, means I am not going higher. معناه أفلا أكون طالبا للمزيد في المقامات فإن الشكر سبب الزيادة. Then he says, okay, now let's go back from this type of irfani discussion to ordinary discussion. And then he says, the prophets have come to invite people to Tawheed. But there is a journey, and masafatan ba'ida, long distance, and lots of aqabat, lots of challenges. Yeah? Lots of, when the road is bending, And شرع تعريف طريق السلوك تلك المسار. Sharia tells us what should you do if you want to make this journey. Sharia is the guideline and the map for this journey. So, he says, I give you one example so that you can understand our relation with God and inshallah better appreciate the point. He says, suppose a king has sent to his servant who is far from him a horse, some dress, and some money. Says, these are your provision and you can travel to me. Then he says, there are two conditions possible for the servant. So the servant of the king, who is far away from the king, has received a horse, money, and dress, an invitation. Says, come to me. One condition is that the king wants him to go there and help him. For example, the king says, I need you to be with me to do something for me. Okay? قَاسْ أَنْ يَكُونَ قَصْدُهُ مِنْ وُصُولِ الْعَبْدِ إِلَى حَضْرَتِهِ أَنْ يَقُومَ بِبَعْضِ مُهِمَّاتِهِ. Says, I have some of the work, some thing that you should do for me. وَيَكُونُ لَهُ عِنَايَةٌ فِي خِدْمَتِهِ. And he says, he needs his service. But sometimes no, he has no need for his service. He just wants the servant to be there, and he doesn't need anything from him. He wants the servant to benefit from being with him. He doesn't want to benefit from servant being with him. He wants the servant benefit from him. You understand? Like, for example, sometimes maybe a teacher says, I want to write a book. Please come and help me. Sometimes the teacher says to a student, I have understood, some good points. Come and I teach you. Come and learn. There are two ways. So, these are two options. الثانية أن لا يكون للملك حظ في العبد. He has no interest in the servant's service. لا حاجة به إليه. He has no need. بل حضوره لا يزيد في ملكه. If he goes, he cannot add to the kingdom and the power of the king. لأنه لا يقوى على القيام بخدمة تغني فيه غناء. He cannot do anything that would increase the reach of the king or reduces his need. He only wants to be close to him so that he can benefit. Then he says, فَمَنْزَلَةُ الْعَبْدِ مِنَ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. Now let's bring this to our relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? After considering the king and a servant who is far, and the king sends him horse and money and dress and says, come to me, and we said there are two possibilities. Now, with respect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَمَنْزِلَةُ الْعَبْدِ مِنَ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى فِي الْمَنْزِلَةِ الثَّانِيَةِ لَا فِي الْمَنْزِلَةِ الْأُولَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us blessings and has sent us invitation, has given us the map, the plan, which is Sharia. Why? Because he needs our service. So he says, come and help me. Or he says, come and help, I help you. Come and benefit from it. One of the big, I think, surgeries that we have to do is to remove this misunderstanding from our mind and heart that Sharia is a kind of restriction, a kind of, obligation, something that because Allah has given us a lot, we have to do it, as a kind of response. Sharia is an additional gift, additional blessing. I'm not saying it's wrong to say that we have to be grateful. Yes, it's okay, but this is not the whole thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us, has guided us, has given us health, everything, but also he says, I have a package for you that if you apply and implement, you will get more. You will get nearer to me. You will benefit from this. فَإِنَّ الْأُولَى مُحَالٌ عَلَى اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. The first type, which the king needs the service of the servant who is far and invites him to serve him, it's impossible for Allah. But الثانية غير محال. But the second is possible. Then he says, اعلم إن العبد لا يكون شاكرا في الحالة الأولى بمجرد الركوب والوصول إلى حضرته. With respect to the king, with God we said the first hala, first condition does not exist. But if the king invites the servant, sends him money, horse, dress, and this servant goes there, he says he would not be considered as shakir بمجرد الركوب والوصول إلى حضرته ما لم يقم بخدمته التي أرادها الملك منه. If he takes the horse, rides the horse, goes all the way there, but does not offer the service that the king wanted, he is not correct. Okay? وَأَمَّا فِي الْحَالَةِ الثَّانِيَةِ. But if the king didn't invite him so that he serve him, so if he goes there, he doesn't need to offer any service. أما في الحالة الثانية فلا يحتاج إلى الخدمة أصلا. So in order to be counted as shakir, he doesn't need to serve, because the king doesn't need the service. But still he can be shakir or kafur. How? يكون شكره بأن يستعمل ما أنفذ إليه مولاه فيما أحبه لأجله لا لأجل نفسه. I wish everyone understand this in Arabic. It's very beautiful. I try to explain it. What is the shukr for this person? A person whose Mawla doesn't need any service, but still has given him something. He says the shukr is you use what he has given. يستعمل ما أنفذ إليه مولاه. Whatever Mawla has sent. Mawla has sent you horse, money, dress. Use it in the way that Mawla has wanted, but not for his sake, for your sake. He gave you the horse to go to him for your benefit. So, take the horse, ride the horse, go to him. This is what he wants for you. Not this is he wants for himself. أن يستعمل ما أنفذ إليه مولاه فيما أحبه لأجله. Mawla wanted, loved it, but for servant's sake. لا لأجل نفسه. Mawla didn't want it for his own sake. What is kufr then? Kufr means kufran al-ni'mah. أن لا يستعمل ذلك. Not to use what Mawla has sent either, by not taking them at all, or taking them and using them in the way that Mawla. For example, Mawla sent a horse and money, you don't use it. You keep the horse in the stable. You say, I don't want, to tire this horse. Use this horse. Some people don't use their brain because they say, we want to give it back to Allah in a good condition. Use your brain, because otherwise condition goes bad. If you use it, it's better. All the blessings that Allah has given you, you have to use it. Okay? But now that you use it, how you use it? In the way that He wanted for you. So, كفره أن لا يستعمل ذلك فيه is not to use it in the way that he wanted for him, بأن يعطله, either totally, ignores and doesn't use it, ta'til, the horse, the dress, the money, everything is left. أو يستعمله فيما يزيد في بعده منها, or use it in the way which takes him away from God, from King, of course. فمنهما لبس العبد الثوب ركب المركوب ولم ينفق الزاد إلا في الطريق فقد شكر مولاه. But if he takes the dress, spends the money and rides, but in the way that Mawla wanted, then that's a positive thing. فَقَدْ شَكَرَ مَوْلَى إِذَا اسْتَعْمَلَ نِحْمَتَهُ فِي مَحَبَّتِهِ. So that was I should have read it differently. So, if he has used the dress and the horse and money only on the way and has not reached Mawla, that's problem. Has gone away, that's problem. Has not used it, it's a problem. But قد شكر مولاه إذا استعمل نعمته في محبته. If he uses the blessing in the love of Mawla. أي فيما أحبه لعبده لا لنفسه. Uses in the way that he wanted for his servant, not for his sake. Okay, so I hope this would explain how we believe that acknowledging our failure, our lack of power to do shukr as a shukr. Because we are not able to do anything for Mawla. We are reaching the point that we think other than Mawla nothing is there. Just we try to do something for our sake, for ourselves, not for Mawla. We are not able to do anything for Mawla. Unfortunately, lots of discussion remains from Kitab al-Shukr. Fortunately, maybe it's not unfortunate, but our time is unfortunately short. Inshallah, if Allah gives us tawfiq, in September, inshallah, we continue. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen.